2022 has come to a close, and despite the fact that there's been a lot of mediocre stuff this year, as evidenced by my bottom 10 of the year, um, we got a lot of pretty good movies this year. So today, the film watcher, shall be giving y'all my top 10 films of 2022. Actually, let's get started with some honorable mentions because I actually have quite a few here. First up, we got Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. It's not flawless. It has issues. I don't think it's amazing as a movie, but it was clever. It was entertaining. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So, yeah, a surprising little movie. Next up, we got The Lost City, a movie. I mean, it has a lot of cliches. It's not the most original of films. It absolutely relies very heavily on its extremely talented cast. But I'm going to be honest, that didn't tamper my enjoyment of the movie at all. It was just entertaining. The cast is great. Um, Honestly, if there's a cast that a movie's gonna rely on, this is a good cast for a movie to rely on. Then we got Sonic the Hedgehog 2, another pretty surprising movie that I mean it was much better than the first one. It felt like a movie about Sonic. I like Tails, I really like Knuckles. Jim Carrey's always entertaining in these movies. And I mean, yeah, the human stuff kind of dragged, and there was far too much of it that didn't feature James Marsden to distract me from the annoyingness of every other character. So it's not perfect, but it was enjoyable. Then we got Jerry and Marge Go Large, a Paramount Plus original movie. And, you know, okay, the movie has kind of a similar setup to Breaking Bad, and I'm not just saying that because Bryan Cranston did it. It's like a slightly bumbling but well meaning man who uses his specific set of skills to find some sort of way to benefit greatly, and his methods are perhaps ethically questionable and even illegal. I don't know if the stuff in this movie is illegal, but I know the stuff in Breaking Bad is. And of course, Bryan Cranston. So yeah, I don't. But even with that, it's just an entertaining movie. The word I would use to describe it is likable. It is a likable, fun film. The cast is all very entertaining. The characters are charming, except this one punk college kid who I think I'm supposed to hate because he's just written to be so incredibly smug, and it makes me despise him. But at least I'm supposed to. So yeah. And then we got White Noise. This is a movie that came out like 3 days ago, and it was pretty good. It wasn't amazing. Um, I think the story was kind of clunky in the way it was told because they kind of just bring up new stuff occasionally, and it doesn't always make a ton of sense or fit. But I think the movie was pretty funny. The cast was very good. I did not know that Greta Gerwig was an actress, but she's good in this movie. So is Don Cheadle. Adam Driver proving that he is a chameleon and can go from playing like this kind of bumbling, goofy professor of Hitler studies to a guy in an action movie blockbuster coming out next year called 65, which looks awesome, by the way. Yeah, so this was a good movie. Then we have Bullet Train, another movie that is kind of carried by the cast, but once again, and it includes Brad Pitt, but he had a good year. But yeah, the cast is really entertaining in this movie. Yeah, the characters are fun. The action is quick and just very cool. And I kind of like how bonkers and goofy this movie goes. Like to just go into the backstory of some of the stuff. I think the some of the cinematography and the direction was very cool. So it's not like a masterpiece or anything, but it was fun. And then two honorable mentions that I want to talk about that were very very close to getting onto the list. Though the first one is Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. You know, I'm not a huge fan of the story of Pinocchio, but as an adaptation, this is about as good as one can get for me, at least. This was just such a cool movie. I think Del Toro knocked it out of the park with the direction here. The animation is stunning. I think the entire cast is great and performs their roles exceptionally well, especially David Bradley as Geppetto, who is phenomenal. Um, Everything about this version of Pinocchio is infinitely better than the Disney version that came out earlier this year. Heck, a lot of things about this that last thing is a no-brainer, but some things about this movie I think are significantly better than the original 1940 Disney film, which I don't think is great, but it's pretty good. I didn't think the songs in this one were super memorable, but it's a very good adaptation. I think it was just such an interesting idea to set this story against the backdrop of like fascist Italy. And Del Toro does some interesting things with that, with like Pinocchio signing up for war, them being interested in him because he's a soldier that can't actually die, which, I mean, yeah, that could have its benefits, but they all kind of take advantage of that. But I don't know. So, and then you get this one scene where Pinocchio sings this incredibly crude song to Benito Mussolini that's just openly mocking him. In any other context, the song would be really annoying, but honestly, I think it works very well within that scene. So, yeah, it's a very, very good movie. And then the other one on here is the Banshees of Inisherin, which this one was really close to being in the top 10 because I thought it was really, really good. All the performances were great. Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson. I would not be surprised if both of them get nominated for Oscars. The one that kind of the standout here was Carrie Condon, who played Colin Farrell's sister. She was fantastic in this movie. She was so entertaining, man. And then like the movie itself is it's like it's a drama, but it's also like a dark comedy where there's some humor in a lot of the insane stuff that happens. And if I were you, if you want to watch this movie, I'd go into it blind and not knowing what's going to happen because it just works that way. Honestly, all you should know is that it's like it's two friends and one of them just kind of decides, yeah, I don't like you anymore. And the movie just kind of goes from there. It is a fascinating journey. There's some stuff that I absolutely didn't expect, but yeah, this is like an awards movie that I genuinely thought was really, really good. So, yeah, those are my honorable mentions. Going on 8 minutes here. Whoop-de-doo. Let's get into the top 10. Number 10 is Hustle. Now, this is a Netflix original film starring Adam Sandler. Usually Adam Sandler just one specific type of Netflix original movie. Usually they're not the best received. I haven't seen any of them, so I don't know if they're actually good. I'm assuming they're not. But anyway, so this movie it's not like an overt comedy. There's comedy in it, but it's not like designed to be a comedic film. Um, but it's about this basketball scout who's trying to like find a really good player so he can do something other than be a basketball scout. And you like Adam Sandler's character, the scout in the movie. I think he gets a lot of like a kind of profound storyline where he's this older guy who wants to be done doing what he's been doing for the past several years, and you just get Sandler gives a really good performance here, and he is just he's great here. I think he works really well. The rest of the cast is really good. You got Queen Latifah. I think his name is like Ben Foster or something. He's the guy with the really terrible bald cap. You'll know if you see the movie, probably. Robert Duvall's in the movie. I am good for him, and he's still going. I don't know about strong. He's still acting. The man's like 90 years old, and I don't know. He's not in the movie much, but he's good. And then I really liked what they did with like this new player that Adam Sandler selects. I think like you get this nice relationship between the two of them, and yeah, it's just a sweet bond, and it's just a cool movie. It's a very good sports movie that honestly I kind of like when sports movies focus more on the coaches than the actual players, because with the players like you kind of know how it's going to go. There's going to be conflicts, there's going to be struggles, and yeah. But with the coaches, I think you get, or like the scouts or something, you get the chance to be kind of more reflective and introspective stuff like that. And I just think it makes for a fuller film experience. And that's kind of what this is. I'd call this movie underrated. I haven't heard a ton of people talk about it. It's very good. It's on Netflix. Check it out. Number 9, Weird, the Al Yankovic story. Not at all like Hustle at all, but I just said it all twice. Whatever. So this is another movie where I am extremely glad that I went in not knowing anything about it. I knew some stuff about it, but so I assumed that it was going to be the actual life story of Weird Al Yankovic, just told in a very over exaggerated, somewhat satirical manner, but I thought it was just going to be like his actual life. That is not what this movie is. It kind of tricks you into thinking that for the first, I don't know, maybe third of it, where it's like, okay, he probably didn't actually come up with the lyrics this way. And then it really starts to get bonkers and crazy, and you realize, oh, it's entirely possible that this entire movie is completely fictional. I don't know. But it was so cool to go in, like, not really knowing what the story was going to be and just experiencing the insanity that comes with that. Because there is so much goofiness in this movie. And while this is absolutely a Weird Al movie, it is, I think, first and foremost, a parody of musical biopics. Because it just it hits all the similar beats, the conflict with the parents, the destructive relationship, it's just coming up with lyrics, meeting celebrities, going insane while performing, like all that sort of stuff that musical biopics do and take seriously. This movie does, and does it not at all seriously, and it's just a really fun send-up of this sub-genre, let's say. The cast is all great. You got, like, Rainn Wilson, Evan Rachel Wood, the parents. I've seen the dad and stuff before. I cannot remember what his name is, but he's good, and the mom as well. And then Daniel Radcliffe, just proving he's a chameleon. He can do so much. Like, he played Harry Potter for 10 years, and what is it, like 12 years after the last movie came out, this is what he's doing? I never would have thought that, but that's awesome. That's so cool. Like, it's just a totally different side of him. I love that he's doing these weirder, goofier projects now. He was in The Lost City, too, and he was great in that, but yeah, he's great in this role. It does look a little silly that when he's like moving his lips, but Weird Al's voice is coming out. But honestly, I think that's also kind of a send up of the musical biopic stuff too, because they do that sometimes. But yeah, this was a very entertaining movie. Actually, if you want to check it out, I'm pretty sure the Roku app is free. I was able to watch it for free, unless they're gonna fee me in like 3 months. Really hope that doesn't happen. Anyway, number 8 is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. After a kind of disappointing year for the MCU overall, this movie kind of got things back on track. It's not perfect. It is long, and there's some stuff in there that I feel could have been cut down maybe a little bit, but overall, this was a very, very good movie, especially considering what it had to, like, come back from. The death of Chadwick Boseman, the pandemic. This was just, like, the worst possible situation in which to make a movie where, I mean, like, I'm sure they had plans for the story. I don't know how far they were into production when Chadwick Boseman passed away, but they must have they kind of just reshuffled, they adjusted, and the movie is, like, surprisingly really, really good. It pays really great tribute to both Chadwick Boseman and to the character of T'Challa. In like every character you get to see processing this and dealing with his passing, and you just get some great emotional moments in this film, specifically from Shuri, who gets, like, like a kind of prominent role in this movie where she was like a nice little side character in the first movie and in the Avengers film she appeared in. But here she just gets like this full complete tragic arc kind of where she has to like recover from the death of I was about to say Chadwick of T'Challa, and I think her performance, Letitia Wright, is great in this film. Another thing that like I when they were like filming this movie and doing the production, I kept hearing stuff about like production issues from Wakanda Forever, and I was like, oh, please be good, please be good, please be good. But the movie was it doesn't feel like it had any sort of production issues at all. Like it comes across as it incredibly professional filmmaking. Um, Once again, a very mature film like these Black Panther movies have been. Um, every performance is awesome. Angela Bassett got nominated for a Golden Globe. Well deserved. Man, she's fantastic here. I think Namor's a really cool villain. He gets he gets some cool stuff to do. I think the performance there is really cool too. And yeah, you get a pretty satisfying conclusion to the film. I'm not gonna spoil really any of what happens here in case you haven't seen it yet, but by all means watch this movie. I think it is significantly better than much of the MCU content this year, even though I rewatched Multiverse of Madness and Love and Thunder, and I don't think they're that like I think they're both decent films. They just have lots of issues to them. But this movie is really really good. Yeah, it was very good. I really enjoyed it. Number 7, Violent Night. Speaking of a movie I really enjoyed, I just rewatched this movie last night. I believe my last Christmas film of the season. But yeah, this is such a fun movie. It's so just it manages to have like the Christmas spirit, especially as you get into the ending. But it is a harsh movie, man, and it's you know some of the violence and the gore in this film with some of the awesome kills. I enjoyed it. It's not going to be for everyone, but I thoroughly enjoyed a lot of the carnage that came with this movie, where it's like you get Santa Claus stabbing a dude in the eye with a Christmas star and then plugging it in, and then his head gets set on fire. That's awesome. I mean, to me at least. And then like you get this sequence that is very clearly trying to be like Home Alone, and it makes that clear. And like you get it's funny because this little girl sets up all these traps and it causes so much damage that I'm sure she didn't intend. It's just such a fun movie. David Harbour is fantastic as Santa Claus. He just gives a great performance. He's like the perfect person to play this version of Santa who used to be a freaking Viking, which is awesome. And honestly, maybe seeing Santa Claus beat up army guys or this extraction team with a sledgehammer would have been traumatizing to 5-year-old me. Current me, I'm down for this. This is awesome. So I really, really enjoyed this movie. It's like I don't know if it's gonna end up being like an absolute holiday classic, but it's just so much fun. And I mean, if you're fed up with Christmas for right now, because it was like over a week ago, I mean, you can watch it next year, I guess. But check it out. It's very good. Number 6 is Top Gun Maverick. This is a movie that, it's honestly kind of impressive, because, like, I think it is better than the first movie. I don't have a ton of nostalgia for the first movie. I've seen it once, but it's really good. This one, I think, improves significantly on a lot of stuff in there. Kind of what I was saying about Hustle, where you get, like, this older version of Maverick, whereas in the first movie, it was kind of just Maverick and Goose and Iceman and all of them just kind of having fun, doing whatever, playing volleyball on the beach, flexing, stuff like that. Here, you get that, but that's not like the focus. You get an older Maverick who is in this kind of strange place in his life where he still kind of wants to do the same stuff he did before, but at the same time, like, you see that he didn't really progress a ton in the military because I think he was just perfectly fine with staying where he was at. And here he gets the opportunity to teach like the younger generation of what he was. And it's just such a cool journey for him to take. I think Tom Cruise is great in this movie. Um, and like they follow up on some things from the first film. You get this great scene with him and Iceman that I won't say anything about, but it's a very good scene. I absolutely watch this movie. Check out that scene. You'll know the scene I'm talking about. You get he he's in a relationship here with like a love interest that got mentioned a couple times in the first movie, Penny something. I've only seen this movie once, but anyway. And she's played by Jennifer Connelly, and she's really good. I think all the younger cast is fantastic. Miles Teller could not have been more perfectly cast as the son of Goose. He looks exactly like him, and he's phenomenal. Like I, I'm a huge fan of Miles Teller at this point. I just like got introduced to him a couple years ago with like the first thing I saw him in might have been like the Fantastic Four movie, which he was far and away the best part of, in my opinion. But he's a great actor. You got Glenn Powell in there. I haven't seen him in much, but he's really good. And just the entire younger cast was a lot of fun. The action in this movie is gripping. There's a clear story. A lot of the effects that I don't know how they did this, some of the plane stuff where there's effects are actually real, but it was cool. This is a fun, energetic movie. It's a blockbuster, but it also manages to be emotional. It's great. Check it out. Number 5, A Christmas Story Christmas. No way did I think this movie was going to get this high. No, I didn't even think it was going to get into my top 10, but like I am shocked. This movie is awesome. It okay. The one problem I had was the actress who played the mom in the original film, Melinda Dillon, retired from acting like 15 years ago. 16 now. We're in 2023. It was in 2007. Boom. But anyway, yeah, she retired, so they replaced her with Julie Haggerty, who I've seen in a couple things, and I don't think she has any. I don't think she even slightly resembles anything about the energy of the mom in the original film. And she gives a good performance for like probably what they asked her to do, but this is not the same character. I do not buy it for once as the same character. So that's really the only problem I had. I could use more Randy too, but I don't know. Whatever. So the way this movie worked for me was like I watched it right around like I was starting to get into Christmassy stuff, and it was just such a pleasant surprise as a sequel to a movie that I love. Like A Christmas Story, I've been watching that movie for years. It's fantastic. Um, and here you get to spend time. It's still from the perspective of Ralphie, but here he's an adult, he's a parent, so he's trying to like make Christmas work while dealing with the passing of his father, while also dealing with like him trying to start a career. And it's like it's an interesting journey for him to take, because like I mean in the original movie, as great of a character as Ralphie is, like he kind of just wants the one thing, the BB gun. So you don't get like much of a character arc for him really. He's kind of just because I mean he's like a 9-year-old kid, but like he's the character you follow, and here you get to see him processing a lot more emotions. I think Peter Billingsley does a great job returning to this role. I love the fact that he becomes a writer, because like his overactive imagination that is still absolutely present here, I think that works really well. I think the original cast that returns here is a lot of fun. You get Flick, Schwartz, and some fun scenes with them. There's some like cool new ideas that I don't know if they're taken from the book, but they're in here either way, and it feels like it feels like something that would be in the original, that might be, without like trying to directly copy everything from it. I like that this movie isn't just a beat for beat remake of the original. Despite the fact that I mean, there's similarities there, but it's just a, it feels fresh, it feels new, while still capturing all the nostalgia from the original film. Um, yeah. Also, the one thing I want to mention, the Scott Farkus thing, that was great. I love the way they did that. It reminded me a lot of what they've done for like a lot of the characters in like Cobra Kai. Some of Daniel's karate based foes, yeah, Chosen, Mike Barnes, those guys, and it was really cool what they did with Scott Farkus here, where you think he's just gonna be this totally intimidating evil person in his adulthood, and now, oh my god, he's a police officer, he has power. But no, he's actually like a pretty okay guy. And I like that. Plus, like the there's a couple shots in there where the actor gets to like be in his the old get up with the coonskin cap and like the and he's clearly having a lot of fun with it. So all the actors look like they're having a good time here. So I really, really enjoyed this movie a lot more than I thought I was going to. So this is an achievement for me. Yeah, good on you, Christmas Story Christmas. Number 4 is Elvis. Wow. So I'll admit this movie was, it was a little bit difficult to get into at first because Baz Luhrmann's directorial style, I haven't seen a ton of his movies. It's difficult to adjust to if you're not super familiar with it, where it's just so much going on at once. It's like the lights flashing, you can't even tell what's going on. There's not really much of a clear story at the beginning of this film, but I think that suits the career of Elvis so unbelievably well. And this was just like such a great match with Baz Luhrmann and Elvis Presley, and I think it works really well. So it was difficult to adjust to, but by the end, I started appreciating it a lot. So good on you, Baz Luhrmann. Um, the performances in here are spectacular. Austin Butler, I think, absolutely should get the Oscar win. That's just my opinion. He is able to just sink into this role so well, which makes sense. He played him for like 3 years straight, 2 years, something like that. I don't know, but he's fantastic. He captures the mannerisms, everything, like the voice, and it's just such a great performance where you feel like every emotion he's going through in every single part of his life. Now, I've heard a lot of people complain about Tom Hanks in this movie. I get it. It's a not a typical Tom Hanks performance. The accent is kind of goofy sounding, but honestly, I thought he was great. I love seeing Tom Hanks in these kind of not that typical roles. And this is at this point in Tom Hanks's career, it's kind of like what he did in A League of Their Own. At that point, he played like romantic interests in films and such. And in A League of Their Own, he played like this angry, bitter man. And here, in the past, he's done like, I don't know, a lot of just sweet older man stuff. He played Fred Rogers, like in a movie that came out 5 years ago. And now in a movie that came out last year, he's playing Elvis Presley's, you know, villainous manager dude. And I honestly thought he was very good. The movie is able to get some really good emotions out of me, especially by the end where you see like the full tragedy of everything that happened to Elvis. The music sequences are very cool. Some of the modern stuff doesn't really work, but you know what? It's okay. So it's not like a perfect movie. It's not a masterpiece. I get why some people don't like it, but I thought it was great. Number 3, yet another movie that I absolutely didn't think was going to rank as high as it did, is RRR. I watched this movie like last week, and it was just such a cool experience. It's long. and there's a segment in there that's not super long where it's like kind of transitioning between some of the big events that's happening, where I was like, okay, this isn't that interesting, get on with it, please. But honestly, this movie was just such a cool experience because like you get all it's an Indian film. It's not really like that many Hollywood movies I've ever seen because it's exaggerated. So it's like all these guys in here, the two leads in this film, they're like freaking mythical figures. There's a scene where there's this one, the first guy fights off like an entire mob of people by himself while dragging someone behind him while not sustaining that many injuries. And then there's another guy who is able to fight off a tiger in the woods. Holy crap. So, and you get like this kind of sweet friendship between them that's like there's this whole montage where they're doing like friend stuff, and it's like you buy into this because not only do they have really good chemistry, they show you like they're just good friends. It's sweet, it's charming. There's a freaking dance sequence in this movie. It's awesome. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a musical because there's like two songs. One of them is at a party, so I don't know. But yeah, it's just really cool. The action in here is incredible. Like it's so big and epic and bombastic where you get like these insanely cool things where there's like flaming arrows. There's I don't know there's swords. There's things blowing up. And you get like because the movie's about like an actual revolution and the British government oppressing these Indian groups, it's like it's able to get emotional and impactful, and when they have moments of victory you feel it because the movie is like feeling it along with you sort of. I don't know, but yeah, this was such a cool movie. I really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. And I mean, like the first maybe half hour, I was like, this is taking a little bit long to get going. So I don't know what's going to happen. But once the movie kicks into gear, it's such a cool film to view. So if you want to check it out, it's on Netflix. In the US, that is, it's like 3 hours long. So be warned. And I did have some of the like I was watching some of it with subtitles, and the subtitles are like so off from what they're actually saying, so it was a little bit distracting. I guess that's my fault for watching it with subtitles, but you know what, who cares. All right, so my top two, I really really debated this because I love both of these movies a great deal, and I have a lot of things to say about both of them, but I think this is my definitive answer. So, number two is a movie that I have not yet talked about on this channel because it came out like a week ago, and that is Matilda the musical. Now, I'm not a massive fan of the musical version of Matilda. I think it's good. I think there's a lot of really creative stuff in there. I think the things it adds to the story are pretty cool. I like the songs. So it's a good musical. And so when I heard that they were doing this version, I was interested because I really like the story. So yeah, I was interested to see what they were gonna do with it. And then they got like Emma Thompson, so I was intrigued. So I watched the movie and I was blown away. I'm still kind of astounded that this movie was as great to me as it was. Like so much so that I enjoyed this movie so much that what I did was I watched it like the day after it came out, and then I watched it again the next day because I just wanted to see it again because it was just so much fun. It was so lively, so entertaining. The cast was phenomenal. The direction of like all the musical sequences was insane. It was just it's just such a great film experience that I had. Let's start with the performances. Alicia Ware as Matilda. Oh my god, she's phenomenal. Like, she has such a charm, a likability. You absolutely buy her as this character. Her singing is great. Both of her songs are a lot of fun, and she just adds so much energy to the performance, and like you absolutely believe her as this character, and she's able to lead this film in an extremely convincing way. Man, this is a great performance. And then you got like the whole supporting cast. All of the kids in this movie are fantastic. They're dancing, they're singing, their energy. Like the older kids during like the school song, they're so intense, and during Revolting Children, they're so pumped up and excited. This is one of like the best group of child actors I've seen in a movie in a really long time. Maybe since like Harry Potter. I'm serious with this. Like, these kids are great. And then like the adult cast, you got Emma Thompson, who wow, she's phenomenal. Like, I think she was really well cast as Trunchbull. I think the makeup and the prosthetics that they added to her work really well, and she's able to like work with them in a way that greatly benefits the performance, because she herself, without any of that, has such a commanding screen presence. So the dominating physical stature that the costume provides her with is able to like elevate that to the next level and make her believable as this absolute tyrant. And she has enough moments of like insecurity that kind of foreshadow her inevitable fate. But yeah, actually, the way that Trunchbull is taken out, so to speak, in this film is it's so great. Like, it's not really like what happens in, I believe, the actual musical, because I don't know how they do this on stage, but it's very cool. I'm not gonna spoil it, but you might know what I'm talking about if you've seen the film. Go watch this movie. Anyway, Lashana Lynch is great as Miss Honey. She just has such a warmth and a kindness to her. Um, she has great chemistry with Alicia Ware. She has like one song in the movie, and she sings it excellently. You got the parents, who are so much fun. They're just great, man. I mean, yeah. So the cast is fantastic. I think the songs are all done so unbelievably well. But I mean, they're all performed exceptionally. They're shot really well. All the dancing and the choreography is fantastic, and there's just so many great sequences in this movie that I've watched several times. Like the opening sequence, the song Miracle. Oh, man. I'm going to be honest, this is the best musical movie I've seen in a really long time. Um, and I'm talking like originals too. I put Frozen pretty high in my Disney ranking. I think this might be better than Frozen. Yeah. Yeah. I put Dear Evan Hansen pretty high on my list, on my top 10 list last year. It was like number 3 or something. Yeah, I'd say this is much better than that. I mean, because I mean, reflecting on it, that Dear Evan Hansen did make some mistakes. This movie makes very, very, very few mistakes. Like, I couldn't even point out any, because it's that good. I loved this movie. It was so much fun, and it like I got like the musical feeling. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Like, when there's just something that happens in a musical film that's just so unbelievably cool that you just well up with emotion. Like, I don't know, that happened to me several times throughout this movie, and it's fantastic. But my number one movie of 2022 is The Batman. Yeah. As much as I love Matilda, this movie was just something special, because like I don't think there's been a Batman movie that is even remotely close to this level of quality. I have many problems with the Dark Knight trilogy. I think it's extremely overrated. I want to just, you know what, this movie, let's not talk about the Dark Knight trilogy. The Batman is exceptional. It's a great movie. I think Matt Reeves knocked it out of the park with the direction here. The version of Gotham we get is so distinct and like vibrant while also being very kind of dingy and gross looking, which is exactly how Gotham should look. It shouldn't look like Chicago. Why would you want it to look like some normal city? What it I don't know. So yeah, it feels like it's a world where a lot of stuff has happened and you feel all of it. You feel all the history here, the connections between the characters and all the stuff going on behind the scenes with like Falcone and the Waynes, stuff like that. Every performance is fantastic. Robert Pattinson absolutely embodies this version of the character, and I really like what they do with Batman in this movie. Like he has an intensity about him, and Pattinson's performance is filled with a lot of subtlety, but you can still read all of his reactions. You know what he's thinking, and like it puts the detective work at the center of the story, and I think that's a great idea that somehow hasn't been used in any Batman movies in what is that, like 55, 56 years that they've been being made. Yeah, I don't know what's the deal there, but yeah. So his performance is great. I really like the arc that they gave Bruce in this film. Realizes where he realizes that he has to be Bruce and be a little bit public. I don't think they're gonna do the full blown Christian Bale sitting in a hotel bar with like three models around him buying the hotel. I don't know, but I'm excited to see what they do with his character. Like Zoe Kravitz in there, Jeffrey Wright, Andy Serkis, a ton of great performers. Paul Dano just going crazy as the Riddler, and he's entertaining, very entertaining fellow there. Colin Farrell, vastly different performance from the other one he gave this year in Banshees of Inisherin, but yeah, this was a great cast all around. John Turturro as well. The action in this movie is awesome. The cinematography is striking, and there's so many shots in this movie that just look absolutely gorgeous. Um, the score is awesome. Michael Giacchino, outstanding job, my man. Like he's a great film composer. He's had a fantastic couple of years because he scored a lot of movies. This one, all the Spider-Man movies, I think I'm pretty sure he did Jurassic World Dominion. I could be wrong. Either way, he's done a lot of movies in the past several years. And this might be one of my favorites of his. He does such a good job here. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just an absolutely fantastic movie. I am so excited to see what they do with this franchise in 3 years, 2 years, because it's 2023. But yeah, so I'm very excited to see the future of this version of Batman. I really, really, really hope that they just kind of let it be its own thing and don't try to incorporate it into the rest of whatever the heck James Gunn has planned for the DCEU or the DCU or whatever. Just please, please, James Gunn, you're good at stuff. Leave Robert Pattinson's Batman out of this. Let Matt Reeves do his own thing. This movie is great. Let it be its own franchise, please. Yeah, so there are my top 10 movies of 2022. Comment your own down below in the comment section if you wish. Like and subscribe. Yeah, thanks for watching. Keep calm and watch on.